Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Yep. So yesterday we learned about how the Redux works in our application. So in React, after understanding the Redux, so we need to know about the concept of how testing happens. React testing. So testing, we are learning just a introduction about this because testing is a separate framework to learn. Generally, people who are involved in testing, they are responsible for writing these test framework related functions. So our main concept is not testing, but having an idea on testing. I will give you a overview. What is testing? How it is done? Because testing requires a separate knowledge on testing frameworks. JavaScript based testing frameworks are there. Usually, developers have to learn those frameworks to involve in testing. So, I will give you an idea of how testing is written for the applications that we design in React. Actually, what is the purpose of testing? What is the purpose of testing and what is a bug? Then what compiler will do? That means is compiler testing. Testing is nothing but it is verifying whether the application that we designed is matching the client requirement or not. It is not about checking the errors. Errors compiler will do. So compiling and identifying errors is not called testing, right? So generally compiling, finding errors, it is called building. We call that process as build. After developing a project, we build the project. During the build, what happens when a project is built? It is going to verify are there any errors in the code and we can fix those errors. Testing is not about finding errors. Testing is verifying whether what you design and what client want are matching or not. Client wants a button in a screen and you missed it. Then will it show in errors that button is missing? No. Then you haven't matched the requirement of client. Then who will identify that? That is done by testing. So actually testing is the process of so verifying as is and to be. Verifying as is and to be. So as is refers to the design and functionality built by developer, and to be refers to the client requirements. As is equal to to be. Then test pass. As is not equal to be. That means test fail. Test fail. That is the criteria actually. As is means what you designed, and to be means what client wants. What you designed and what client wants both are matching, then pass. If not, then it is fail. That is the concept of that. And React is JavaScript based. Hence, you can use various JavaScript based testing frameworks like Jasmine, Karma, Just, etc. You have like Protractor, Jasmine, Karma, Just. There are different JavaScript based testing frameworks are present, and it is not mandatory that everyone have to use them, but this is uh, popularly used. And React create application. React create application template provides just framework installed with the core library. So React create application template provides a just framework. That means when you create an application in React, then automatically this just framework is installed. That means React project by default have a testing framework by name what? Just. So actually, so what is the point about this is it enables unit testing. Unit testing means you can test every functionality of a component in React. You can test every functionality of a component in React. Every functionality. So generally, each and every function that is designed, we can test. We can test the hooks that we created. We can test the components that we created. And component is not just only functionality. Component contains even the UI also. That means test includes UI, styles, and logic. You can test the user interface, you can test the styles, you can test the logic. That means you can verify whether a class is defined or not. You can verify whether a test is included or not. That means whether some control is present or not, the control is having a value or not. We can verify all these things. Actually, testing every component includes three phases. We have three important phases: arrange, act, and assert. Testing includes three steps actually: arranging, act, and assert. Testing every component includes three phases: the arrange, the act, and assert. Arrange every testing, not only in React, anywhere software testing have three phases in any technology, whether it may be Java, .NET, Python, PHP, anywhere. Testing have three phases: arrange, act, and asset. Arrange is nothing but, so arrange is the process of importing the required component to test. It is the process of importing the required component to test. First, we need to import what we want to test. That is what actually arrange. And act specifies the functionality to test. It specifies which functionality to test. And assert reports the test result. Test result. So test result pass or fail. We have to arrange the test. We need to act and we need to assert. Assert indicates whether the test passed or failed. First, we need to import the test. Then we need to specify which functionality to test. So, and we need to configure. So, just framework provides various mock functions for testing. It provides mock functions for testing. Just framework. It will provide various mocks function for testing. That means mock functions are responsible for verifying whether what requirement asked by client, is it available in your design or not. So a lot of mock functions are there. Mock functions means like what? For example, we have so options like to be equal. So to be string. So to be number. To be in document. To have uh, to have attribute. Like that, so many mock functions will be there. To be equal, to be not equal, to be greater than, to be less than, to be less than or equal, to be greater than or equal, to be inside the text. So that means to be in the document, to be to have an attribute. That means like this, hundreds of functions are present. Hundreds of functions will be there. Every testing framework have hundreds of mock functions available. These hundreds of mock functions are responsible for verifying whether the client required concept is present in your page or not. Whatever it is, not only for React, we use for general JavaScript also. General JavaScript HTML applications also uses the framework called Just, Jasmine, Karma. So many are there. So usually, just js.io. This is just. It is a JavaScript testing framework actually. It is a JavaScript testing framework. It is not for just React. It is used by anybody. Angular can use it, React can use it, Vue can use it. But actually, inbuilt templates, Angular uses Jasmine Karma as inbuilt, and React uses just as inbuilt. But it is not necessary. We can have our own frameworks. And learning this testing framework is done by the people who are involved in complete testing. And these are the various types of mock functions available. Mock functions like to be equal, to be close to be, to have property. So all these kind of mock functions are available. Hundreds of functions will be there. Developer have to learn and use these mock functions for testing. So many mock functions are present. So it is a separate framework. People who are involved in testing, they learn about these frameworks. And actually, web testing is a big concept. So that generally testing people learn about that. Because testing means not just verifying what we need available or not. It is also about verifying the performance of application. Performance means how it is responding to certain users. So how much time it is taking to respond to an action. All such are done by testing. So we are just learning how can we write the test for verifying whether the component is designed according to the requirement or not. I am just giving an introduction to testing, right? So here, how the test works is just a framework. Framework provides functions to arrange and act on any functionality. So you have like test, it configures the test, it configures the test case, and we have render, it arranges the component to test. So we have like screen, it provides various properties and methods to access the UI elements on screen. UI elements on screen. We have like expect. It is used to assert the test, means pass or fail. Then we have like to be like that. So many are present. These are mock functions to verify the expected. These are mock functions to verify expected. To verify the expected, lot of mock functions are present. Right. That is generally how we manage. So here, how this works, one small example I will show you how we configure the test. Already some design is present. So we will open our project. For example, we will open our previous project. I think means the not the project we have, that the app we are having. Okay, let's open this. So we are having a React application. Some React to do application is there. So we have one React to do application. Already we have this application. Now I want to test certain functionality in this application. So for example, we are having a component called user login, right? So I want to test it, or let me add a separate component for you, a new component called login. Okay. I will add login is a folder, login.jsx, and the test files are saved with login.test.js. We can save with test.js or spec.js to extension. That is not extension, that is just a suffix. They are JavaScript files only, right? So that means the test files are saved with test files are saved saved as name.test.js, name.spec.js. So, or spec.js. Spec is a specification file, test specification files. So spec.js and test.js. Now here I am adding a login component. So export function login and just it returns some presentation. In the presentation, we have a heading. So user login. And we have a data list, data term, some user ID, some text box is there. Text, okay. And data term is password. So just design is important for us. And now we have a button as login. Okay. Now we created a login screen. So we added a login screen and we have some requirements for this login. That means according to the client requirements, uh, let's see here. Yeah. According to the client requirements, login component. So title must be customer login, and login component must have recover password link. It must have a recover password link, and it must navigate to so slash recover path. These are the requirements of client. Client says that I want this. Even they can even mention that. So button must login button must must be red color. Like that, they can have requirements. And how you verify whether these requirements matching or not? Will you write any if condition for that? We can write. It's a lengthy process. What do you think? It's not impossible. Na? How do you know whether heading is user login or customer login? You can get the inner HTML of heading. We can verify whether it is matching or not. You can write conditions. It's not impossible. Everything we can write by using JavaScript logic. But testing frameworks will provide ready-made functions. We just use those functions for testing. So how we do that? Now the question here is how we can access this heading and we can test it in our test file. In that case, generally how we can access by query selector. For testing, we need a data test ID. If you want to test any specific element, then you can access that element by using data test ID. Data test ID, suppose title. So that is the test ID. So testing have functions like get by test ID. You can get by test ID, get by name. We can use some functions, right? So here, when you are testing, so in this important point is the component that comprises of elements to test, that comprises of elements to test must have reference ID for unique configuration. Must have reference ID for unique configuration. So it is defined with so data test ID. It is defined with test ID. You can access elements by using test ID or other mock functions. Other mock functions. So syntactically, suppose we have an image, data test ID is equal to poster. We have a heading, data test ID is title. Like this, we can configure that so that we can access and we can test them. So how do we test that? Let's see. Means how we can access and use them and test them. So we can use the option screen dot get by test ID. So title like this you can access screen dot get by test ID poster like this we can access. Testing framework provides lot of functions. Through those functions we can access these elements. So I will test here. So that means we will import here. Actually, by default in your project already one test file is present. When you created a project, app.js is added with app.test.js. It is inbuilt available. I will delete this. So I will delete this. Okay, I'm not keeping that. I will just add only what is needed for our application. Now here, what we need is in login.test.js. Here we have to import. What we need to import is we need to import screen from test library, and we need to import render from the test library. So we need so many others depending on the requirement. First is we have to import the component to test. What to import? Import login. Login also you have to import. That's what we want to test here. How to write the case? So test case one. I'm just writing a test case one. What is the first case is according to client requirement, we must have a title for login as customer login. That is the first requirement. So we will write a test method and the test name. The test name is title test. Okay, what is the functionality? You have to, it uses a callback function, and here we need to define. First point, where is this title that you want to test? The title is present in a component called login. First, you have to render that component. So render, which component to render? Login. First, you render the component which is having that test. After that, where is the title in that component? That means what you have to do, you have to create a reference. Reference is what? Title. How to get the title? By using screen. Screen dot get by test ID. Get by test ID. What is the test ID? Title. We can access that. After that, what you are expecting in that title? That means we have to define expect. Expect title. What we are expecting? We are expecting title. Title is a heading. What we are expecting title. So expect title. First point is to have text content. Expect title to have text content. What is the text content we are expecting? Text content we are expecting is what? Customer login. That is the first condition. That is how we write the cases. Now what it will do is it will first load this component. After that, it will get the ID title, and it will verify whether the title text is the same what we are expecting. If it is same, it will say test pass. Otherwise, it will fail. This is the first case. What is second case? Like this, you can write any number of cases. Test case 2. What is the second case? Test. We are giving test. Okay. What is the second case is recover password link test. Link test. Recover password link test. Okay. What you are expecting, where you are expecting. First render. It is present in which component? Login. It is in login component. Okay. Now, what we are expecting here? So LET link we are expecting. We have to verify whether there is a link by name recover password or not. If there is no element at all, how you verify that? That means what we use? Screen dot. So get by text. So we have options like get by text. Get by text. What is the text you are expecting? Text I am expecting. You have to write like a expression. expression is written in double slash. What you are expecting, I am expecting as recover. Recover what? Password. I am expecting recover password. That means on the screen, verify is there any recover password word, recover password word. And what we have to verify. So expect. First condition is what? Expect link. Expect link to be in document. First verify that it is in the document. If it is in the document, good. If it is not in the document, it will show error saying that I can't find any link by text as what? Recover password. It will check that. Okay. After you found it, what is the next one? It should have a href attribute. That means expect link to have attribute, to have attribute. Which attribute? Attribute. Attribute is href, or attribute is like href is the attribute, and what is the text you are expecting? Value slash what? Recover is the value. That means it should have the path as recover. That means we are expecting these for a link in the document. So like this, you can add all the cases. That means to have attribute class name and value is BTN danger. That means it is red color, danger color. To have any style, to have any class, we can verify attribute means all are attributes. You can verify SRC is matching or not. You can verify width height is matching or not, because every attribute is same. That means you can access the attributes, you can verify. So now a test case is written for both of them. Let's run this and see. So how do we run the test? That means we need to run the test. So by using, so here configure test, configure test case in a test file. So we have to write like this: test and case name and a callback function. In this render, we have a component to test. So we have a reference is equal to screen dot get by, various mock functions will be there. Then expect reference to be, various mock functions will be there. To be what is the value you are expecting? You need to define. That's just a syntax to define. So run tests by using the command npm run test. You have to use the command npm run test. It is used to run the test. So now when I run the test in the terminal, npm run test, it will start the testing framework that is set up in our project. By using the testing framework, it found that login.test.js, and automatically it will test and it will show you the issues. The problems will come. So one test suite found, that means one test file found. In that, two tests are found and two failed. Why? Because so why those two tests failed? That means it will show you what failed also. Title test failed, recover password failed. Title test is expecting element C, expected element to have text content as customer login, but it received user login. That means it is not correct. Okay, what is the second test? Second test is recover password link test, and it is unable to find the element in the box. These are the issues. It is unable to find the element by that name. Okay, let's do one thing now. Let's go to our component, that is login. And here we will change the title as not user login as what? Customer login. Okay, run this. When you save this, automatically it will run the test again. And this time, after running the test, okay, now one failed, one pass. And what is the one failed? So one passed and one failed. Title test pass. There is no problem in that. But recover password failed. What is the failure? Failure is nothing but unable to find the element with this text. Okay, we will do one thing. So let's go to the login JSX. And here we will put a anchor. Anchor as what? Recover password. Okay, one more time we will run this. I am running that again. And you can see that actually again failed. What is the failed this time? This time, so it failed. Expected element to have an attribute href set to this, but it received null. That means it is unable to find the attribute called href. Href attribute is not there. Okay, and the value must be what? Recover. Okay, what I done here is I am writing href as hash. Right, again you test it. Then again it will show failure. Again one test failed. And why it is failed? Because expected to have this, but it received this. That means what you are expecting to have it. So it should be slash what? Recover. We need to define that. Now you can see that. Now you can see all the tests are passed. That means now there are no problems. That means the title test is passed and the recover is passed. Each and every concept can be tested by using these mark functions. Remember, hundreds of mark functions are there. To be equal, to be greater than or equal, to be in document, to have attribute, to have text content. Like that, hundreds of functions are there. Generally, this is just to give you an idea how the testing is done. Generally, how the testing is configured. Because if you are anywhere involved in testing, only senior people are involved in testing. Generally, fresher are not given any chance of that. And we have a separate team for that. So who are aware of testing frameworks and all. So, and in that case, they will be writing these test cases and all according to the client requirements and verify whether the design is matching with the requirements or not. So this is one important example actually. So one example here, this is a login dot what JSX. This is login dot JSX and login dot test dot JS. This is login dot test dot JS. That's how we can configure. So these are the basic things to understand the testing. Now, once the application is tested with all the components, then next important is build and deploy. Deploy, building and deployment. So, how you can build and deploy? What is the concept of building? Building is nothing but build is a process. So, in that build process, usually we will verify the syntaxes. We check the problems in the code, identify the problems, fix those problems, and make the application ready for production. Actually, in previous versions, we have two types of builds, one build for design, another build for production. But now they have removed one option. Now, in the latest versions, even in Angular and React like technologies everywhere, they are giving only one option, that is build for production. When you build, the project is ready for production. Production means what? It is ready for going live. So what build will do? It will verify the syntaxes, it will compile your code, it will check the errors, and it will create a folder which will be ready for production. Remember, all the code that you designed, you may write hundreds of components. Everything will be combined into one file now. Production folder contains only one folder, and that folder contains all the files that are used for publishing our project live, going live. If your project have to go live, you have to build. And how it will do that? For example, in our to-do application, actually, in this to-do application, app.js, yeah, in this to-do application, usually, so you can see that lot of components are there, but these all files are not sent in production. When it is going live, everything is combined into one file. That means including index.js and all your components, everything is kept in one file called main.js. All the files are logic is combined into one, and that is main.js. And all the resources are kept in a folder called build. Build folder contains the final repository. Some projects will use dist folder, dist. Some use build. Some use directly public folder. But currently, the configuration is set to build. That means actually what happened from 4 onwards. I will stop this testing. Control C, you can terminate the testing. And here, so what is the process of build? Build is the process of compiling the project, check for errors in code, and create a production ready environment. And create a production ready environment. React latest versions provided build only for production. Build only for production. So that means go live. So the production folder is generated by name build. It is generated by name build. The production folder is generated by name build. Production level folder is generated by name build. Right. So here you can see we have to just npm run build. That is the command you have to execute. So checking for the errors, finding the errors, fixing the errors, all this we can do by using this. So here I will run, currently this is the project. It is an empty one, nothing is there here. Actually, this is not the folder needed. We'll delete it. That I given you for the uploading project to you. Huh? Okay. Now this is your project. Just what you have to do, npm run build. That is the command you have to use. You can see that automatically in your project, a build folder is created and everything is optimized into that build. That means everything, complete project is present in that build. So earlier you used to have lot of files for every component, separate file. But now everything is kept into one folder build. And this is the folder that people use for deploying. Deployment means what? You can host your application on a server so that anybody can access from the server. You can host on local servers for using on intranet, or you can host on cloud servers so that anybody can watch from anywhere, can handle it from anywhere. So we have two important points. So what is the concept of deployment? Deploying is the process of hosting your application, hosting your application on server, so that clients can start using the application, So you can deploy on local servers for using over intranet services, intranet services. So intranet services. So local servers like we have IIS, so Tomcat. So we have like XAMPP. We have like WAMP servers. So many will be there. Local servers will be there. Even you can use a node server also. I showed you in Node.js, we can create a server and we can configure a server app. So we can do that by using this. These are local servers. So you can deploy on cloud servers, cloud servers like you can use Firebase, we can use AWS, we can use Azure, so we can use Netlify, we can use GitHub pages. You can use any of them. If you learned already web development, you know basic GitHub development. Because in general web designing, in UI classes, you learned about GitHub, how to configure and how to use it. So how to deploy your portfolios on GitHub. Those are basic things you learned in your HTML, JavaScript concepts. And AWS, Azure, Firebase, these are all different cloud environments. Actually, to deploy on cloud, to work on cloud, you need knowledge of cloud. First, you need to learn cloud. Without learning what is AWS, Azure, you can't deploy anything there. But I will give you documentations about them. Later, if you learn those AWS, Azure, you can do. I will show you on Firebase, which is simple and easy for deployment. You can try GitHub, Azure, Netlify, others. I will upload one document for everyone so that you can see and try them. Because for that, you need to create accounts. One Azure account, one AWS account. So you need to create accounts. And usually in UI development, you have GitHub accounts. So you designed your portfolios and published them there. So you can use any of them. Just different tools are used. Little bit process will change. Concept is same. Any cloud you can try. We can use this Firebase. For example, I will go with this Firebase. I will show you. Others, I will give a document. You can check them. So what you need to do is we will say Firebase deployment. Firebase deployment is it is a simple process of deploying your project on Firebase, but you have to learn complete cloud technology to configure servers, to configure databases, to configure APIs. It is not a simple one day session actually. A complete cloud you have to learn to deploy everything on cloud, manage on cloud. Here what you are learning is in web development learning, generally people learn how to push the app into the cloud, configuring servers, maintaining servers, configuring databases, APIs is all required complete knowledge on cloud. Actually we are conducting workshop on Docker and cloud, multi-cloud workshop already last week conducted. Coming week one more workshop is there, you can attend them. In those workshops they will teach you how to deploy on multi clouds, different cloud. The cloud trainers will be there, they will take a workshop on Docker and deploying on clouds, multi cloud. Already on YouTube in our channel you have that video. Last week already that session happened. If you haven't gone through that, missed it, you can wait, next week another workshop will happen, you can attend that. That is not only for you, for Java, .NET, PHP, Python, any technology people, whatever apps they develop, how to deploy them on cloud, multi clouds. For even Angular, React also the similar point. So Firebase deployment, just what you need to do is create a login into Firebase with your Google account. Because Firebase Google email account is enough. You can log in into the Firebase. This is the firebase.com. This is the Firebase and login into your Google account. So this is firebase.google.com. I will log in into this. I have a different account for that. I will. Okay, this is the my Firebase account. I logged in, and here go to console. You can go to the console option and you create a project here. You need to add a project. So add project button and enter the project name. What is the project name? Is to do app. Actually, it is not available. Some code is coming means it is already taken. I'll give to do app, or I will say React to do app. So it is also there. These all are available. To do React task app. Okay, this looks fine. React task to do. That is available. A unique name I am looking for, because already many people may have taken those names, right? So that is the project name I am giving. So that means what you need to do is go to console and create a new project on Firebase. And this is the project name. I'm just giving the project name like this. So this is on Firebase, and the Firebase, you can see that I already created this. Okay, continue, and just click on continue. It is asking account. Account is nothing but default account will be there. If you have a paid account, you can choose that paid account also. Default is a free account. Create project, and it is creating a project. After the project is created on cloud, what you have to do is, so install Firebase tools on your PC. You have to install the Firebase tools on your PC. So the project is ready. Okay. To install the Firebase tools, actually, I will show you here. You need to run this on your computer. So this is npm install Firebase tools. That's what you need to do. This is from anywhere in the command prompt, you have to run this. npm install globally Firebase tools. That means Firebase tools are globally installed so that you can use for any project, not only for React, Angular, React, or general web applications also you can host using Firebase. You have to install the Firebase tools globally. Once you install the Firebase tools, go to your project terminal in VS Code, and there you have to run Firebase login. That means you have to log in into your Firebase account. Firebase login. So here, go to the project terminal, and here you need to run Firebase login. And make sure that you logged in into Firebase, because already we separately logged in browser. it will automatically show that. So it is logged in, already logged in. Otherwise, it will open the browser, ask you to enter your details, you log in, then it is ready. After login, now what you have to do is Firebase init, initialization. You have to run the command Firebase init. This is going to connect your project, local project with the cloud. That means this is connection between your project locally and cloud. So how you run the command? You have to just use the command Firebase init. Firebase init, when I run, it will ask a series of questions you have to answer. What are the questions? Let's see. Do you like to proceed? Yes. Here it is asking which Firebase feature you want to use. Firebase is used for a lot of things: security, database, servers. It's a cloud. Cloud has a lot of things. What is the purpose we are using? Which Firebase feature you want? So here is the first question it is asking. So which Firebase feature you want? Here you select hosting. So hosting is the feature. Hosting, and configure files for Firebase hosting. This is the first answer you have to select. First question is that. That means actually there are two hosting options. You have to select configure files for Firebase hosting. You have to choose that. You can use spacebar to select and deselect. You can use up and down arrows to move between options. It is a cloud, has a lot of things. Huh? So I will select hosting configure files. Okay. Second question, it is asking, do you want existing project or create new project? We want existing project. Second question, use existing project. You have to select that. Okay. Which project it is asking to select? Which project? React task to do. That is the project we have to choose. Am I right? And enter. Okay. It is asking. So that means select project. And the project is what? This is the project. React task to do. After that, it is asking production folder. Production folder is what? Build na? That is the production folder. You have to mention the folder name, which contains all the production files. So it is asking the production folder, and see the production folder. So production folder is not public. It is what? Build. Build is the production folder. Enter. It is asking, so it is asking rewrite index.html. No, don't rewrite, because it is very dangerous, because index.html is our startup. And in that already we have a component configuration. We don't want to overwrite. So don't overwrite. No. So GitHub deploys are not required. No. And it is already saying again rewrite. So index exists, want to replace. So no, don't want to replace, because keep the same index what we have. Don't create another index. So no, never override this one. It is done. That means Firebase initialization is complete. Now your project is ready. Now one more command, Firebase deploy. Now your project is ready on cloud. Just you have to run the command Firebase deploy. Now what it will do? It is going to push the Firebase project into the cloud. Every day what you have to do, if any modification you done, just run this command every day. That's it. You don't need all others to mention. Every day you have to just run Firebase deploy after modification. Now when I run this Firebase deploy, and you can see that it is deploying. It is deploying the Firebase and it is ready. Deploy complete and see it given the hosting URL. And this is the URL where the project is currently running. That is the URL automatically generated for our project. Actually, you can convert this into custom domain. You can buy custom domain www.somename.com. You can change that to custom domains. Now you can see that here once it is ready. Let's open that and see. And you can see our to-do application is ready. Now it is running on cloud. It is live. This application is live. This application is live. Only the point is we haven't configured any database end here. For that, cloud technology is required. What generally people do, they use local JSON servers and put the data temporarily, or they use local storage, session storage, and they put the data and try. But actually, online API configurations on cloud, database configurations on cloud, it needs a complete knowledge of cloud. But our application is ready. Our application is running on cloud. So any modification you want to do, then what you have to do every time you do the modification, and what you need to do. So then run the command Firebase deploy. That means go to your project, do any modification in any component and just Firebase deploy. This will push that into that location. This is the simple process actually. Same thing in AWS, Azure, Netlify, GitHub pages, but their tools are different. You have to download GitHub desktop, GitHub tools. You have to download Netlify tools. You have to download AWS Azure tools. That means all are same concept. Only the point is deployment commands will change. The concept is same. That and Firebase is a Google Cloud and it's a very simple approach. But it's not the concept of complete end-to-end integrations. End-to-end integration impossible to know here, because for that you need to know complete knowledge of cloud hostings, server configurations, cloud API configuration, cloud database management. It's a very big concept. Generally, people learn that all in the cloud technologies. So anyhow, our workshop people are showing a glance of how to use that, and you can try that, you can check that. But this is enough to practice. So how do you deploy your content on cloud and use that, right? This is the concept of building and deploying. So testing, building and deployment, these are all the options. Now, as I told you, I will upload the project also, another project. What is that project? Shopping project. You go through that, all the topics, whatever you learned till now. With this, we finish all the concept. What I will do is Saturday, this Saturday, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, our session completed. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, you just practice the project I upload. I will upload a resume format and I will upload the FAQs, frequently asked questions in interviews of React. Those two documents I will upload, and I will upload a sample resume. So for experience and freshers resume, how they form the resume in React, you go through all those concepts. And Saturday we will have a doubt session on this Saturday. So regular timing. So we will have a doubt session. If you have any issues, any doubts related to the concepts on Saturday, I will clarify the doubts and we can wrap the session. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, so you go through the concepts, and if you have doubts, you can attend on Saturday. On Saturday session, we will end that with the doubts. Okay, right? So I will upload all the documents today. Go through them. Okay, right. Thank you.